King's Country at kingscountry.net with Streets. That's Kenny Chesney. I'm Jim King of the radio and TV. Hey, don't miss the show this weekend. It's a jam-packed entertainment extravaganza. Always try to outdo myself every day, every week, and get a real sense of accomplishment towards the end of the week when I've completed the episode, because it's just me. Well, Suzanne Simmons helps me videotape some, but I basically do all the hosting, editing, producing, and whatnot. Check out this one. We're going to recap our Caribbean cruise last weekend. We cruised down past the Yucatan to the Caribbean Sea. We visited some exotic locations like Cozumel, Costa Maya, and Mahogany Bay in Roatan, Honduras. Check it out this weekend. It's already aired a couple of times. We'll give you some previews. I'm going to preview the country part of the show because that's included as well. We're going to check out my good friend Glenn Templeton. Tim Burge is in the Royal Spotlight, and they got a curb recording artist by the name of Hannah Ellis. We'll feature her as well as we keep them coming on the Jim King of the Radio Show. Thanks for streaming us.
I always knew you'd come along.
King's Country at kingscountry.net. Oh, looky here. Got some Luke Combs and Fast Car, his cover of that Tracy Chapman song from maybe 40 years ago. She was kind of a one-hit wonder, but I love that song, Fast Car. And he does a bang-up job on it. And speaking of Luke's, he was recently named, get this, the sexiest, yes, the sexiest 34-year-old man on the planet by People. Listen to his hilarious reaction.
Down year, 1990 down year, for sure, when it came to sexy guys, but still proud to be at the top of the pile. Heavily surprised. heavily surprised. I thought it was like maybe like most cheeseburgers ate, or like this year or something, and I was like, well, that could make sense. Maybe we're redefining sexy. That's what's going to be my next album title, Redefining Sexy. And it's going to be like guys that like shirts don't fit that good, and they're like, fall asleep on the couch watching football and stuff. Like, if that's sexy, I'm...
Streaming from the studio of King of the Road Productions in Beaumont, Texas, home of the Jim King of the TV and radio extravaganzas. Yeah, I've been producing it all from the spare bedroom of my house, but don't tell anybody, for 18 years now. People ask me sometimes, why don't you go get a little office separate from your house? No, because I'll have to pay for it, and I got my cats here. Enough said. Anyway, check this episode out this weekend. It's episode number 953 for those of you keeping track. It's actually a country and Caribbean episode. We're going to close it out with my buddy Tim Burge back in the Royal Spotlight. Got a good little ditty that he's going to share with you. We're also going to have the Southeast Texas debut of Hannah Ellis's new video. She's a curb recording artist. It's called Once. Powerful tune. That's our King's Country music clip of the week from Nashville. We're going to recap our Caribbean cruise. Me and my fiancée, Suzanne Simmons, last weekend went on a Caribbean cruise through the past the Yucatan down there south. You get to check that out. We got it all covered for you there. But we're going to kick it off with my buddy, Glenn Templeton, live at Honky Tonk, Texas. Here's an audio sample.
Jim King of the Road. Jim King of the Road.
Here's a song that got my career started a long time ago. Where's all my David Uncle fans at tonight?
Well, I was coming from Montgomery, had my guitar on my back, when a stranger stopped beside me in an antique Cadillac. He was dressed like 1950, had drunk and hollow eyed. Said, it's a long walk to Nashville, would you like a ride, son? Well, now I sit down in the front seat and I turn on the radio, and them sad old songs coming out of them speakers was solid country gold. Man, I noticed a stranger was ghost white pale when he asked me for a light, and I knew there was something strange about this ride. He said, Teresa, can you make fools cry when you play and sing? Have you paid your dues? Can you moan the blues? Can you bend them guitar strings?
2000s, Glenn Templeton had the honor of opening for the late, great George Jones for a series of concerts.
One of the thrills of my radio career is getting a phone call one time from George Jones. He was coming into town to play with Merle Haggard. They're both deceased now, but this was about 10, 12 years ago.
Kicker 95.1, it's Jim King. Hello.
Jim, this is George Jones. How are you?
Hey, George, how are you, man?
Well, we're doing pretty good for an old man.
They were still working pretty hard in those days, in the late 2000s.
I don't think those guys they never gave up.
No.
They never gave up anything. They just
kept
continued to
dreaming.
play, continued to dream, continued to reinvent their songwriting, and it was, they just kept continuing to deliver to their fans what their fans wanted and what they'd been given a life like to lead like none other by way of their fans, and they just kept giving them what they wanted.
You've been carrying that Conway Twitty torch for a while, and you were handpicked by his daughters out of like 20,000 people to play him in a tribute to Conway Twitty on the road.
Yeah, and that was about, that tour lasted about almost 2 years, and that was my first step out onto a major performance stage. I mean, I really learned a lot about how a show should go, and just I learned a lot about the family and about Conway's history, because he started out as a rock and roll star, and then from a rock and roll star then he became a country star, and sometimes it works the opposite way, but each individual will find his own.
Before we go any further, some people out here want to hear some love-making music. Some baby-making music. And that doesn't come any better way than by playing some Conway Twitty. There's a midnight moon drifting through lazy sway of the tree. I saw the look in your eyes, looking into the night, not seeing what you wanted to see. But darling, don't say a word, I've already heard what your body's saying to mine. You're tired of fast moves, you got a slow groove on your mind. You want a man with a slow hand. You want a lover with an easy touch. You want somebody who will spend some time, not come and go in a heated rush. Baby, believe me, I understand. When it comes to love, you want a slow hand. Somebody scream.
Check out Glenn Templeton on this weekend's Jim King of the TV show, Fox 4, the CW, Strike TV, and YouTube. We are 6 times a week and always available on YouTube. And thanks for streaming King's Country.
I don't wanna go.
Good afternoon. Jim King of the radio behind the wheel, and for your dining and dancing pleasure today, we got a lot of great stuff coming up. From the likes of our own Mark Chestnut from right here in Beaumont, Texas. Got some Miranda Lambert, Her Majesty. And thanks for streaming King's Country. Tell your friends about us. It's the most magnificent country music mix on the planet 24/7 and 365. I'm Jim King of the radio. Coming up next, Corey Morrow. King's Country, kingscountry.net. I'm Jim King. I'm so proud of Cody Johnson. I actually had him on my show years ago, back in about 2014. He'd already made a pretty big name for himself in the Lone Star State. We caught up with him up in Jasper, and then once here in Beaumont. Well, I heard he cleaned up at the CMAs the other night, and I'm sure he was polished and cleaned up physically, too. But anyway, I didn't get to watch the CMAs. I was so busy doing production. That's my busy night here, late night doing production, because I've got a lot of deadlines on Thursdays. Anyway, Cody Johnson was on the red carpet for the CMAs and was asked what his plans were for next year. And here's what he had to say.
In 2025, I'm going to manifest that we're going to continue to change country music for the positive. I'm going into the studio, recording a new album. We're touring the UK, we're touring Australia, New Zealand. Big things are coming.
King's Country at kingscountry.net. It is the weekend. That means it's my time to shine on the boob tube. Already have shown a little bit on the boob tube a couple times on Strike TV and the CW so far, and a preview on News at Noon on KFDM just a little while ago, which I've now posted on my social media platforms. So check it out. And don't miss the show this weekend. We're going to actually have a country and Caribbean little cruising episode, because we just got back from our Caribbean cruise, me and my fiance, Suzanne Simmons. Yes, it's a country and Caribbean. That means we have Glenn Templeton kicking it off. Also, all that footage that I kind of slapped together from our trip off my cell phone. Most of it was done on piecing together videos that I did on TikTok while we were on board the ship, and then some of our excursions too. Tim Burge will be in the Royal Spotlight. Also have a curb recording artist Hannah Ellis with Once. That's her new video. Check it out this weekend. Several more opportunities, because we are 6 times a week now. And I pretty much do this show just on Fridays, King's Country, just so I can double down on promotion of the show. So that explains it. And I'll shut my pie hole now and play some Sugarland. King's Country at kingscountry.net. I'm Jim King, and I guess that does it for this week's Jim King of the Radio Show. I'll be back next week with another edition. I hope you have a great weekend, and hope you get a chance to catch the TV version of this show. A lot like this, but with moving pictures. And I'm not a real king. I just play one on TV several times a week. Check local listings, Fox 4, the CW, Strike TV, and YouTube. And as always, we appreciate you streaming King's Country. Now you know what to do. Keep it between the ditches and have a good one. Later, Gators.
Long live the king!